Imagine this. A pregnant woman, alone in the scorching wilderness, collapses under the blazing sun. Suddenly, 6 lions appear from the tall grass. What do you think happens next? Is she safe? Or is danger lurking? Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping wildlife stories. And leave your thoughts in the comments below. Did you expect this twist? Let us know. Now, let's dive into the story. It was midday, and the African plains shimmered under the relentless heat of the sun. The horizon blurred as waves of heat rose from the dry earth, distorting everything in sight. Somewhere in this vast wilderness, a young woman named Amina trudged forward, her bare feet sinking into the dusty soil. She was 8 months pregnant, her swollen belly carrying not just life but hope. Her village, Kabbalah, lay far behind her, its only vehicle broken down. The nearest clinic was 15 kilometers away, a distance that felt like an eternity under the punishing sun. Amina wasn't searching for food or shelter. She was searching for safety. Every step she took was deliberate, every breath measured. Sweat trickled down her temples. Her legs trembled, and yet there was no fear on her face, only quiet determination. But even the strongest can falter. As the hours dragged on, her strength began to wane. The world around her blurred, and the distant cries of birds seemed to mock her exhaustion. Finally, her knees buckled. She sank gently to the ground, leaning against a sun-baked termite mound. Her breathing grew ragged. Her head dipped forward. She placed a trembling hand on her belly, whispering softly in her native tongue, a prayer, perhaps, or a lullaby. The baby stirred inside her, a faint kick that felt both gentle and defiant. "You're still fighting," she murmured, though her voice was barely audible. Out here in the vast expanse of untamed land, time was running out. But then something shifted. The air changed, subtle at first. The grass quivered, though there was no wind. Birds fell silent. Insects stopped buzzing. And then they emerged from the golden grasses, one by one. First, a lioness appeared, her amber eyes steady and ancient. Then another, and another, until 5 lionesses stood in a silent formation around Amina. Their presence was immense, their gaze unblinking. Yet, strangely, they made no move to attack. Amina's heart pounded in her chest. She clutched her belly tightly, frozen, not out of fear, but out of instinct. One lioness stepped forward, sniffing the air. Her gaze lingered not on Amina's face, but on the gentle swell of her womb. Then, without warning, the lioness lowered herself to ground, lying down as if to watch over her. The others followed suit, settling into grass like guardians rather than predators. And then he arrived, the male lion, majestic, scarred, and regal. His mane caught the wind as he strode into the clearing. He surveyed the scene with calm authority, his amber eyes locking onto Amina. Still, he did not roar or lunge. Instead, he sat in the center of the pride, a living shield between Amina and the dangers of the wild. For a moment, there was only stillness. Amina lay motionless, her breath shallow, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. The lions surrounded her, yet they made no move. They were not hunters now. They were protectors. One lioness began licking her paw, her movements slow and deliberate. Another stretched and lowered her head to the ground. The male remained seated, his gaze fixed on the horizon, as if guarding against unseen threats. Then it happened. The male lion lifted his great head toward the sky and roared, a sound so deep and resonant it shook the very plains. It was not a cry of aggression, but a call, a declaration that echoed across the savannah. Miles away, Joseph, a seasoned ranger with weathered skin and sharp eyes, heard it. He knew that roar. It belonged to an aging male lion named Kibbo, whose voice had grown rare in recent seasons. Kibbo did not roar without reason. Joseph threw his vehicle into gear and sped toward the source of sound. When he crested a small rise in the landscape, he saw them, 6 lions surrounding a lone woman. His foot slammed the brake. Amina lay slumped at the base of the termite mound, her arms still cradling her belly. The lions were not in a predatory stance. They were seated calm, regal, as if centuries of instinct had aligned in this single moment. Joseph stepped out of the vehicle cautiously, his boots sinking softly into the earth. He raised his hands, not in surrender, but in respect. The lionesses watched him, unmoving. Then Kibbo rose, his mane shimmering like molten bronze in the sunlight. He stepped forward, not toward Joseph, but aside, clearing a path with the authority of a king. Joseph knelt beside Amina. Her eyes fluttered open, relief washing over her face. He lifted her gently, carrying her as one might carry something sacred. Before returning to the vehicle, Joseph paused. Kibbo stood just meters away, staring at him, not as a beast, but as an equal. The vehicle sped across the plains, the sun climbing steadily above. Joseph radioed ahead to the clinic. When they arrived, nurses rushed to take Amina inside. Hours later, a cry filled the air. A baby girl, strong and healthy, born beneath the African sun. Days passed, and Joseph returned to the spot where it all happened. The lions were gone, as if the wilderness had reclaimed its secrets. Yet their story remained, etched in paw prints and memory. The villagers spoke of it in quiet awe. The lions guarded her. They said, this was no ordinary tale of survival. It was something rarer, a moment when the wild chose not to threaten but to protect, when the king of beasts became a guardian for a mother and her unborn child. Moral lesson. Nature often surprises us with its capacity for compassion and protection. Even in the harshest environments, kindness can emerge when we least expect it. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every click helps us bring more incredible stories from the wild to the world.